Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89. Well, since Tension was released, I've been sort of exploring Kylie's history a little bit. I've kind of been a bad Kylie fan most of my life. I always sort of was loyal to Madonna until she pretty much didn't tour Australia in 2001 for the Drowned World Tour, and then I started looking at other artists. That's when I bought my first Kylie CD, which was Fever. So yeah, I didn't see her tour until the Showgirl tour in 2007, the Homecoming tour. I had tickets for the original tour, but it was cancelled because she had cancer, and she took a year off and came back the next year and did the show. That was the first time I saw her, and I felt bad cancelling my ticket because they sort of asked not to, but I knew I didn't have good seats, so I knew I could get better seats when they rescheduled the tour. So I did, and I ended up being up in the rafters to basically on the floor row HH, which I'm guessing was 30 something, but I can't remember. It seemed very far away. And then I noticed someone wasn't sitting like in their seat about 5 rows up from me, so I moved up about halfway through the show, but that's as close as I got. And then I saw her in the Golden Tour, which was at the Melbourne Music Bowl, whatever it's called. I always get that confused. And that was a nightmare as well. I didn't get into the front, the main section. I was on the outside. So there's a seated section, and then there's like a grass section. I was on that section. But I didn't realise how complicated her touring history was. She's done about 17 or 18 tours if you count the A Very Kylie Christmas and the 2 summer tours in 2015, 2019, and the promo tour for Golden, which has rolled into the Golden Tour, and it's kind of interesting the way things have gone, and I've just been exploring that and watching her first few shows, which I'd never seen. I'd bought a few of her DVDs, some of her concerts on DVD, as well as the the greatest hits. I had the main greatest hits album, and then I had Ultimate Kylie, and I had that on DVD. And the concerts though, I didn't start. Oh god, why did I start? I think I started with Fever. And then I ended up going backwards and getting a few, and then getting a few as I went along. But she started off, oddly enough, touring Japan in 1989. She did a 4-show gig, but it was actually, there was 3 artists that were performing together as part of like the stable of artists from that record company, and they did these giant sold-out tours at the Tokyo Dome, and Kylie did a video. And there's only about 30 minutes of songs, and then about 20 minutes of her talking to the camera and just showing a backstage thing, which is kind of interesting, and her acting very much like she was producing the whole show when she was an executive producer, but whatever, she was very young. And that was it. They went and did another 10 shows, I think, around Europe for free, which was part of some sort of Coca-Cola campaign or something, and I'm like, that seems like a pretty good deal. You get to see your favourite artist for free. And then she did her first real tour in 1990, which was the, I think it was the Enjoy Yourself tour. Yeah, Disco in Dream was the name of the 2nd October to 22nd October tour of Asia and Europe in 1989. And the Enjoy Yourself tour was 1990. It was February and May 1990. Now that one, they did Asia, Europe, and Australia. It's 24 shows. And that one is, it's funny, the first show had a lot of energy, but it's basically her just bouncing around like a little bunny having no idea what she's doing. The second show is much more rehearsed, planned, organised, but it's a little slow and a little dull, and I actually kind of enjoyed the footage from the first tour more than I did the second tour. It was really, some parts were really dull. I was really surprised. And she's kind of doing a bit of a Janet Jackson thing, which is kind of interesting. And I noticed in interviews where people would always compare her to Madonna, she said, I actually have more in common with Janet Jackson than Madonna. I love Madonna, blah, blah, blah. And I can see that in some of the routines. And the first outfit, she's just in a black bodysuit. And then she changes into a little sequined booty shorts number. And then she does a similar flag version of that with a flag on it for the last 15 minutes of the show, and that's it. Now the third show, the Rhythm of Love tour, now that was a bit of a disaster. They did 19 shows in Australia and Asia, and it was between February and March 1991, and it was kind of a, apparently it was kind of a, she was criticised for copying Madonna, and her outfits were very risque, and it was very controversial, some of the numbers and that, and they basically cancelled they were going to do a video release or a TV show of the concert. They kind of cancelled that, and then she took a few months off. She came back with the Rhythm of Love tour because she'd done another album in the meantime that she was now promoting, and that was 19 shows, and that was basically the next. Oh, she took off a lot longer than I thought. It was like the next year. No, I'm getting confused. No, it was November. So let's get to it tour. God, do I have to start again? I'm just going to go with the mistakes. Forgive me. There's a lot of tours to remember. So it was a Let's Get To It tour, and that was October and November. So she took like 6 months off, came back, basically redid the same tour, but just in Europe. Did 12 shows. And similar criticisms that people criticised the outfits. They didn't like her being sexy or sexual, being more adult. And it does seem kind of premature where her image seems to have grown faster than her music. She was still doing the old Kylie songs, but she was doing like a new version of Kylie. And it does feel like Kylie doing the Who's That Girl tour in Blonde Ambition outfits. It does seem really strange. Like some of the choreography is really kind of clunky, and it just feels like she's copying old Madonna, but she's dressed kind of like new Madonna. But it's interesting. She does sing better. The performance is better. It just seems really weird seeing Kylie kind of copy Madonna, which is something she'd been criticised for the whole time, but yet she ended up kind of doing it anyway. Now, fortunately, by the time we got to Intimate and Live, and this is the other thing, she took 7 years off, which I didn't realise, because Madonna took 7 years off between The Girly Show and Drowned World. Kylie took off 7 years between, I keep forgetting what it's called, Let's Get To It, because the name doesn't make sense to me, Let's Get To It. Let's Get To It, between that in 91 and 98, the Intimate Live tour, she took 7 years off. I didn't realise that, because I kind of felt like I didn't know what tour she did and what she was doing at the time. I didn't realise she did nothing. And that was a good show. Now, the thing with that show was the people who produced it didn't know anything about touring. And in some way it shows, but it's kind of nice. It's very theatrical, very simple. They have one main set, which has two variations. There was like a little stage that sort of, a bunch of stairs that came up and up from it. It was like a pyramid, sort of. And then there was like the little cone on top, which was the rainbow sort of colours sort of thing from the album of Impossible Princess. If you know the cover of the album, which I can't find, of course, that one. There was like a physical, like little set of that she started off in, and that's about it. God, this video is a mess. Now my alarm's going off. It was really good though. It had cowboy style, and she had the Melbourne Marching Boys or the Sydney Marching Boys coming out at the end, and there was like 40 of them, and it was like a huge number, and it was just really good. Now, a few shows was sort of, Intimate Live was supposed to sort of be sort of more just sort of singing to the audience. So some of them were a little basic and stripped down, but the rest were fairly good with the way the numbers were done. I was quite surprised by that. That's the one I saw on TV. It was a 2-hour TV special, I think. Okay, so then we go to On a Night Like This, and now we finally get to Kylie being Kylie. It feels like a Kylie show, a Kylie tour. What I recognise as Kylie, what I saw as Kylie live. And I was kind of surprised by the earlier tours because they just felt like she didn't know what she was doing. Then she was doing Madonna, and then it took her 5 tours to kind of work out, I think, who she was as an artist. And she finally got it. And I haven't actually watched Intimate Live yet. This is like a sort of a performance review for the first like 5 shows. Is it 5? Disco and Dream, Enjoy Yourself. And now my computer's gone off. This is a disaster of a video. Enjoy Yourself, Rhythm of Love tour, Let's Get To It tour, which is like 2 halves the same tour, Intimate Live. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So the 6th tour was On a Night Like This. That was February to May. No, May. God, March to... God, I cannot talk. March to May 2001. So it took her the 80s and the 90s to work out who she was as an artist, and she finally got herself together by 2001. Yeah, so that's it, I guess. Now, the next couple of shows, I kind of know them. I've seen bits from them. I haven't seen On a Night Like This. I've just started watching the video. I saw a bit of Fever, and I saw the Greatest Hits show, the Showgirl tour live, and I didn't see Kylie X, but I saw bits of it. For You, For Me, that was her. She did one American tour, strictly American tour. It was 9 shows in September and October 2009. And then she did Aphrodite, Les Folles, which I didn't see. Anti-Tour, I didn't even know that existed. That was 2012 in Europe and Australia. I didn't even know that existed. Kiss Me Once, knew about it, didn't go. And then Golden I went because I loved Golden so much I had to see it. So that's a little bit of a review of Kylie's touring history and her, I guess, journey to getting a clue to who she was. And now she's Kylie and she's great. But I was really shocked to go back and go through all that history. That's why I had to talk about it, because it was just really wow. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks.